Just a quick heads up, there's a slight chance that tomorrow's show will be later than usual. We're getting a lot of snow tomorrow up here in Maine, and if my toddler's school is canceled due to the accumulation, I'm going to take the morning off to play around in the snow with her and to drink hot chocolate and build stuff with Duplo blocks. If that does happen, I will be catching up on tomorrow's show later in the day. I will be getting our newsfeed email newsletter out by 7 a.m. Eastern either way, so if you really want to stay on top of the cannabis news game, then you should open up mjtodaymedia.com/newsfeed to subscribe to that if you haven't already. Today's episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of the nation's leading vertically integrated medical marijuana operators. With 42 local dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 10 processing facilities serving more than 100,000 registered patients. Open up Curaleaf.com today, with Curaleaf spelled C-U-R-A-L-E-A-F, and check out their Cannabis 101 section on their website, which has some useful and educational bits about the science and history of medical marijuana. And while you're over there, you can also check out more about Curaleaf's 3 major consumer brands: their namesake medical cannabis line of Curaleaf, their Curaleaf hemp brand made using hemp-derived CBD, and Yuku, their top-line craft cannabis. If you're lucky enough to live in one of the states where Curaleaf is active, then you should find your way to a Curaleaf shop to see for yourself all the special things that make them different. One last time, that's Curaleaf.com. Thanks to everyone over at Curaleaf for supporting today's news. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, February 12th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 664 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Democratic Senator and presidential candidate Kamala Harris said yesterday that she is in favor of legalizing adult use marijuana and joked about the fact that she had inhaled when she smoked cannabis in her college days. Senator Harris, who represents California, is a former prosecutor with a not great history in terms of progressive drug policy, even as her position on marijuana has evolved to be pro-reform. You can swing over to KUSI to see video of the interview itself, which included what may be my all-time favorite comments about marijuana made by a politician, with Senator Harris saying of cannabis, quote, "It gives a lot of people joy, and we need more joy," unquote. That is certainly true. The New York Times grabs our second top spot with news that the luxury goods store Barneys is launching its own top-shelf cannabis-focused store to be called High End. The new shop will be located within Barneys' Beverly Hills location in March, with more to open throughout the state. The new shop will carry stupidly expensive vaporizers, bongs, and other marijuana accessories, and is targeting the kind of people who spend thousands of dollars on handbags and sneakers. I'm not really one of those kinds of people myself, but I think it's newsworthy that cannabis culture is reaching that exclusive pocket of society. Rounding out our top stories today is news of a large acquisition of an American marijuana company by a Canadian licensed medical cannabis farm, with TerrAscend scooping up California-based The Apothecarium in a deal valued at just under $120 million. The deal will give TerrAscend all of the assets of The Apothecarium, which include dispensaries, cultivation sites, and processing facilities in California, Nevada, and New Mexico, for $73.7 million in cash and $44.7 million in stock. This is a top story today because of its size and the fact that I expect we'll see a lot more deals like this in 2019 as Canadian firms and the few American companies who have gone north to go public, all flush with public cash, turn their acquisitive sights southward. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's leading vertically integrated medical marijuana operators. With 42 local dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 10 processing facilities serving more than 100,000 registered patients. Curaleaf is not only one of the top multi-state operators in the U.S., but they're also now publicly traded on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the stock symbol CURA, or C-U-R-A. Just open up Curaleaf.com to learn more about the Curaleaf stock and more about Curaleaf the company. including the location of the closest Curaleaf dispensary to you, because there's no better way to experience the Curaleaf difference than to visit one of their facilities yourself. Big thanks to everyone at Curaleaf for helping make today's news possible. All right, time for the Blitz. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week shows the steady and impressive growth in the number of registered medical marijuana patients in New Mexico, which saw its ranks of registered patients grow from 47,840 in January of last year to 67,574 by December, a 41% jump. Maggie Cowie's story over at Marijuana Business Daily is worthy of a dive in for more background and context. Alan Brockstein's new Cannabis Ventures has details for a planned reverse takeover by California-based Harborside of the Canadian-listed firm Lineage, which will change its name to Harborside Inc. and assume the stock symbol HBOR, assuming its application for that symbol is approved. Harborside is raising a private round of $53 million of financing concurrent to the reverse takeover, all of which you can read more about over at New Cannabis Ventures. New Hampshire Public Radio has an interesting story built around a podcast interview between Matt Simon of the Marijuana Policy Project and a representative from a prohibitionist group. The interesting angle on New Hampshire is that it's a non-legal state that is now entirely surrounded by neighbors which have legalized adult use, with Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Canada all allowing for non-medical marijuana use. As sales efforts in those states and Canada ramp up, the pressure on New Hampshire to liberalize its own policies is only going to increase. So I think it's a good storyline to stay on top of, even if you're not a Granite Stater yourself. Yesterday, Terry Booth, CEO of Canadian marijuana giant Aurora Cannabis, released his company's latest quarterly results with $54.2 million in revenue generated for the second quarter, ending at the end of December, even as the company saw its overall losses for the quarter at around $237 million, which somehow was expected, something to do with its stock. The positive takeaway from the results is that Aurora's revenue total was 83% higher than the previous quarter. I'll be the first to admit to having a large gap in knowledge for how larger public companies' finances work, so I jump over to New Cannabis Ventures to learn more on that. Cleveland.com has a very helpful searchable list of the 374 doctors in Ohio who have registered to recommend medical marijuana, with more to be added by the state tomorrow. Open up Cleveland.com to poke around the list and to share the link with anyone living in the state who might need to find a recommending physician. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. As New York continues to charge ahead on the path towards legal adult use marijuana, one of the more interesting angles in the state is how things stand for its handful of licensed medical marijuana operators, which have survived years of operating in a stunted and dysfunctional system with an eye to a future in which they would be positioned to profit. The state's current system is in far better health than it was just a couple of years ago, with around 90,000 registered patients in all. But unless steps are taken to allow current medical business license holders to carve out space or otherwise get ahead of outside adult use operators, those big payoffs could be blunted or taken away entirely. Bloomberg has more on this on a day full of stories worthy of full dives in. And finally for today, Denver Westward has a feel-good story about an adult use dispensary in Denver that is offering any employee of the Denver public school system a heck of a deal. If you flash your DPS badge at the Kind Love Dispensary in Glendale, then you will get an eighth of their in-house strain for just 1 penny. Denver teachers are currently on strike, so Kind Love is leveraging the situation for some good press and to help Mile High educators take their minds off their current stressful situations, if only for as long as it takes to play a game of Settlers of Catan. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Curaleaf, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the lesser ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.